Welcome to Digging In with the DLCs, where we highlight teachers and staff using digital tools, strategies, and best practices in digital learning. In this episode, we will explore how English students at Wakeland High School use voice and choice to engage in the learning and influence the community. Hello, I am Polly Simpkins, and I am a Frisco ISD digital learning coach for Wakeland High School. Today, we're going to meet Wakeland High School teachers Linda Gates and Harlan Sullivan and their English students to discuss how these students use their literary knowledge and audience awareness skills in order to engage in the learning and influence others about books through videos, podcasts, and websites.
So probably the best example of where we have given students the power over their own learning through voice and choice and through learning skills that are going to transfer and make them, future ready learning skills. Probably the best example of that would be our Literary Influencer Project. Because in that, number one, they got to choose their book. And sometimes that doesn't always happen. Sometimes we have to say, you have to read this. But they really got to choose whatever interested them.
Hi, my name is Sarah Sunny, and I'm a freshman at Wakeland High School.
Hi, my name is Timothy Roberts.
I'm really grateful that we were able to, in such a weird year with COVID and everything, being able to have a little bit of free reign in our freshman year where we're getting introduced to everything. Getting to choose the books that we're reading. We got to choose our dystopian or science fiction novel that we did. And choosing the books that we read throughout the year and the projects that we did really made us more interested in English overall, and it really helped us be more passionate about the projects that we were doing.
So they chose their book, and then we taught a lot of skills that they would need to be an influencer, to get someone to do something. So we talked a lot about rhetorical devices, we talked about their books, about plot development, all the English stuff, and then they took all of those skills that they learned and they applied it to their project. And their project was, I need to influence someone to read this book. What would be the best way for me to do that? So some students chose to do a blog because they're good writers, they like imagery. Some students chose to do a vlog because they like to be on camera and a lot of their personality could come through. And they could do a podcast, but they didn't necessarily want to be on camera. And then some students chose the old-fashioned route, the essay. But every student took the skills that we taught everyone, and they applied those skills in their own unique way. And these are skills that they'll be able to take into whatever they do in the future. It's not just about reading a book and getting someone to read it. It's about, I want to change someone's mind about something. How do I do that?
Ms. Gates has really given us free reign over a lot of things this school year, especially with our Literary Influencer Project, in which we were able to choose a book of our choice, which was really fun, and do a project that was supposed to reach fellow ninth graders our age and really make them want to read the novel that we're reading.
Yeah, it was really, really fun. We both did similar things, but we all had the choice to do whatever we wanted in order to persuade others and influence others to reading what we were reading. And I think it was really fun because I know that you did a video, right?
Yeah, and he did a podcast.
Yeah, I did a podcast.
Not only were the English teachers involved in these projects, we utilized the librarian. Maddie Powell can find a book for anybody. And then our DLC, our digital learning coach on campus, Polly Simpkins, she helped us because she gave us all of these great ideas of where students could go to produce these things that they wanted to do. Like, I had no idea where to send a student if they wanted to make a blog. So she really gave us a whole list. She walked us through and made sure that we understood how to do everything, that every student had access, that it was appropriate for use. So it really was an effort of a lot of people.
The effect that it had, like, for both of us was really cool because it reached out to a lot more people than we were expecting. So.
Do you want to talk about that part?
Yeah, so I did a podcast, and I was just expecting it to just only be seen by Miss Gates, and I put it out on Spotify and Anchor, and it actually was reaching a lot of people. Like, I looked at my viewers, and I had some viewers from Germany, United Kingdom, Russia. It was very exciting, and I was very taken off guard, to be honest, but I'm just happy that what I was doing was reaching more people than just the people at my school.
And another project that we also worked on was one where we saw how other people in the world have influenced and created change. And that was really interesting because it was kind of the opposite of what we did before, changing what we were talking about, how we were influencing people, and then seeing the reverse of that and how other people influence us.
Yeah, we were kind of like making it, we were just taking that same subject and making it bigger and broader. And it was very fun to research, just getting to learn about these amazing people who've done amazing things and speaking about them, and it was really cool for me, at least. Yeah, this English is definitely one of my favorite classes.
Absolutely.
Just because like I feel like I'm really get to be free with what I'm doing, what I'm researching, how I'm researching, and for both of these projects that we've done in the past, I really felt like I was able to connect with the school and what I was doing, and I felt like the work I was doing was really productive, and I was getting some work done that was important, and that was really cool for me.
And I think that's really important for a school to have, like, the students be able to have a voice in what they're doing. It's really, really important, especially in English, where everyone, like, that's the one place where you should have a voice. And the fact that we do is absolutely incredible that we get to experience that at such a young age, and seeing how in the future we might be able to utilize those skills that we learned in our freshman year of high school.
Yeah, I mean, I was very excited to know that we were able to have all of this freedom with picking what we were doing. And because of the success of my first podcast, I did another podcast, and that was also pretty successful as well. And I kept doing that because I just found it very fun. And I also found like a passion for maybe I would maybe want to do podcasts about other things that I enjoy. And from just doing 2 podcasts, I was shown like how I can actually do something important, and I was shown that people were listening. I even got like offers with like money. The companies were reaching out to me, and they were wondering what I could do and if I was willing to get paid for doing it. And it's an amazing thing to know that this simple school project has turned into something bigger, and it's reached out to more people. I
mean, same with me. Like the videos that I was creating, talking about a book series that I loved. You don't think about that when you're doing it. I mean, I could see a future career in myself doing book reviews on YouTube, and people get sponsorships for that all the time. And that's really something that really spoke to me because I love reading, and getting to choose a book and having like my fellow peers listen to me was really, really important to me, because I think the most important thing to me was that I was making an impact on other people. And whether it was something as small as reading a book or learning about March for Our Lives or Percy Jackson, which is what you did, it just really makes us all happy to be able to do that.
And I, like, even through researching these things, I was able to learn like a lot of just the underlying principles and messages within these people or this series. And it's cool to know that there's people our age that are talking about these things and talking about why they're important, because it actually shows that the future for us will be promising in a way. And I think that's very important.
Research project that we did that was talking about inspiring change and all of that, I don't think we realized the scope of how big that was and how important that was to learn about, because the research that we did on that, it was really real world stuff, and it really showed us how people in our community or in the world have impacted others, and how potentially we're the future of that, and we can do that too. And I think that was very important for all of us. Yep. And I think also, other than like us producing something that was going to influence people, seeing how our peers created something and then influenced us it was a different thing to realize that when you're watching these presentations or reading these Google site presentations or these slideshows or reading these essays, that people wanted to talk about something. When they had something to say, they said it, and it impacted people everywhere, including us.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. That's a great point.
Hi, I'm Harlan Sullivan. I teach pre-AP and on-level English 2 at Wakeland High School, and I am super excited about a project. It is a performance-based assessment on our unit on forgiveness. And all unit long, the students have been reading articles about forgiveness. They read literature circle novels, and all of them had the overarching theme of to forgive or not to forgive, and why. And so at the end of the unit, they did a performance-based assessment, but working towards taking it and making it their own is so much more powerful and so much more engaging. So the students had a choice. They could take a character from their novel that they read, or they did research. They researched a real life person who had been wronged. It could sing, and I think it gave students a chance to have their opinion matter. And that was really empowering for them. So they did a rationale where they had the evidence and they used their real research or they used their novel and they wrote a rationale and then they created a final product. And this is where they really shined. They were able to choose. So first of all, they chose between real live person or their novel. Then they chose how they were going to persuade their person to forgive or not to forgive. They could write a letter. They could do a social media post. We had some kids who did Instagram posts. We had some people who did diary entries and found the correct font so that it was in cursive, because that's what would have been used during that time period. And they had to research and figure out what's the best method. It's almost like marketing for them to communicate the message they were trying to match to their audience. So it was
Many of us can say that we have survived through war as a child. Even if we had, I don't think we'd be proud of it. I read your memoir, Ishmael Bea, and I can tell that you've been through a lot. Even if you may doubt whether or not you deserve to be forgiven, I believe you are right to be forgiven for your faults. After all, it was never truly your fault, right?
And one student did a real life person who was put into jail for a crime he didn't commit. He was there for 4 decades. And while he was there, he became an artist and started painting as a way to achieve a sense of peace. So her choice for her final project was a painting. Some other people did drawings because they felt that was the best way to express. And one student said, I'm going to do a drawing. And then he came back up and he said, Miss Sullivan, I think I need to do 2 or 3 drawings, because then I need to tie it all together, because I need to show them this is what it would look like if you didn't forgive, this is what it would look like if you did. So the depth and the thinking and the student choice and voice that is involved in this activity is phenomenal. And it's so exciting. I had a student come up to me and said, Miss Sullivan, have you looked at mine yet? And I'm like, no, I haven't gotten to it yet. It was due this period. And she was like, well, I did a diary entry to my character and I just want to see what you think. I had so much fun doing this. And I said, honey, you just said fun and school in the same sentence. And she said, yes, ma'am, I did.
And that wraps up this episode of Digging In with the DLCs. We want to thank our Wakeland English teachers, Linda Gates and Harlan Sullivan, for sharing their expertise in creating activities that allow for student ownership, choice, and voice. We also want to thank her students, Timothy and Sarah, for sharing their enthusiastic reflections when offered the choice on how they are able to express their learning and understanding. And lastly, we also want to thank you for watching. We hope you heard something today that makes you think differently, feel positively, and explore fervently the possibilities for implementing student voice and choice in your own classroom environment.